From here, like I said, 5260 is up top in terms of liquidity. We have a little bit of downside to 5240, and once I get NASDAQ to kind of load there, 18300 liquidity there. So nice little bottom wick still going. Beautiful stuff, and we'll be seeing what we can do here on this move. We have 18281. We have up to 18300. And let's see. NVIDIA is screaming nicely up in green. Apple is going red. NVIDIA's raging. Yeah. I've been out this week for a family emergency. Hope everything is okay. Very curious about the CCS you opened this week. Can you give a recap of how the trade went? I'm going to post the exits and entries in the channel. You can see the exits. I closed out the call credit spread, which ended, or I closed out the short call, which ended up being a very good decision. And now I'm letting the long call eat, and it's doing very well. So, great decision there. So, I was very happy with the management. The entry, obviously, was not the greatest because we kept on raging, but I closed out the short leg, did my due diligence, and the long leg is doing very well. So, good stuff. There's another little pop and drop there, 18281. Let me get the new YouTube link for you, apparently, because we had to shut down. 18285, refresh. Let's try this again. I'm guessing you did some hedging. No. I mean, I took some regular plays. I took my regular day trades, but my objective was either to hedge or to close, and I don't need to hedge because I closed out my short leg, so I didn't need to hedge. And again, any trade I post, I will post the hedging with it. I'm not gonna do stuff behind the scenes of trades that I've posted. So if it's not in the trades channel, then I did not take it. 18291 still coming up here. Nice little hammer candle up to 300. Microsoft is climbing as well. Let's take a look. Russells are doing their thing. XLF is green. TLT is flat. VIX is flat. Hasn't really moved a lot. Apple is coming up and still a nice little green candle here. 280. Let's see if we can actually get this thing working here. So we still have some little great flows here. It's doing its thing. This is exactly what we should be doing here, and it's nice. And off to the races we go. All right, sweet. I think now we're cooking. You see the difference on a green pre-market that's out of control and a green pre-market that's got a little selling in it? That's the difference. It leaves plenty of inventory gathering for the buyers to go even higher without any kind of crazy sell-off. Too hot, too fast. I would be very careful following through with my bullish thesis, but now we are exploding to the upside. New pre-market high already, and off to the races we go, and we're doing very well. I love to see it. Love to see it. Booyakasha. 18307 and going. Nice little green move here. VPA across the board. XLF. Let's see. Someone asked a question there. Matt, I will go over your VPA question today after we kind of get through the first half hour, but we are exploding now. Look at this. Just going. Going. 18319 into 337 and off to the races we go. Still going. 314. We have a CBD of 667 green. ES 5260 right here. Take us to the races. Oh my gosh. Beautiful stuff. ES has not popped overnight high. NASDAQ has. If you look around the market, we have mostly green, of course. 7 of the 10 are green. We have a couple of red names, which is very, very small red. We've got Amazon, Meta, and Google are all red, with NVIDIA, of course, up 1.8%. Climbing green. A little bit of red there, 18296, first red of the day. See what they're going to do here. NVIDIA is still going green. We've got this up to 55.57. We've got NASDAQ. It looks like it's recouping. And this is going to bottom wick and see if we can reattack the same level and go from there. We've got 18311 flipping back to green. Beautiful. My overall thesis today is I want to see how we deal with this right here. And once we hold this, ES went on a nice little trend update yesterday. The calls I took would have went well over 100% because the thesis played out. If ES can recapture 5260, I'd be looking for, like I said, up into the 5300 realm. Let's take a look at the options chain activity here as well. Options chain, let's go flow, refresh. And I'll get that stuff, 5260. Another bottom wick coming up nicely. 316. Apple's getting shorted red as the odd behavior continues with the tech. There's just not enough, I guess, liquidity to pump into NVIDIA without taking it out of Apple. So the inverse Apple-NVIDIA trade continues. If you see green on NVIDIA, short Apple, and vice versa. Your mic is a little low. There we go. I'll put it some higher. I recently started swing trading futures. What happens when it expires? I know the option side. It'll just settle. So if you buy a futures and carry it into expiration, it'll just settle. Speaking of which, if you do want to take a long VIX trade, the futures are not quite the same as regular futures in terms of S&P and NASDAQ. Go back and look at the VIX futures chart for the past 6 months. It literally goes down and keeps on going down because it reduces down to spot. That's why in a normal contango market back in the bull market, one of my common trades is to short VIX futures for a long period of time. So if you are going to long VIX futures, it's not as simple as holding ES and just hanging on to them. Yeah, go look at the daily chart. You'll see exactly what I mean for VX or VXM. Coming up nicely. Looking for this bottom wick to hold here. So going back to the 4-hour chart, still we have nothing but green across the board. ES has still been on a trudge since May 1st. We're going on 9 days in a row now with no pullback on the S&P. So we've gone from 5036 to 5260 on a very tight green session. Upside, like I said, I'm looking for 18500 on NASDAQ, and ES probably has 5300 on deck. SPX currently sitting 5230, 4, which I need 16 more points for my long legs to go in the money, which would make this a very, very profitable play. Small accounts only trading MES. Nice. All right. Expiration filter. Let's go to the 10th. So we have GEX up to 5240, which is currently where we are. That was posted yesterday, and we could watch the 0 DTE GEX fluctuate based on market positioning here, and we'll get a better idea of what's going to happen. SPX currently situated around 42 or 5230. So it'd be best to buy a VIX futures contract and hold as opposed to VIX options. I've been researching this last night. It seems like VIX options are quite different than typical options. I don't recommend buying and holding VIX options unless you are properly timed. It requires a keen sense of timing to do that. VIX futures, I don't want to be so lax to say buy and hold VIX futures. Like I said, go to VX, go to their daily chart, and look what happens. VIX futures are literally straight down nearly every day for the past year. Despite it, and when you still have to have impeccable timing with VIX futures as well, because VIX are futures and they very aggressively move back down to spot. So again, with VIX futures, you have to be timed as well, just like VIX options. That's all I'm saying. All right, still coming up here, NASDAQ 5231 overall. We have got a 80-point move and still going. VIX is not moving currently. NVIDIA is exploding. Microsoft exploding. Dow's exploding. XLF is going. And nice little green move here. Beautiful stuff. One of those mornings where you want to continue to just roll up and find a stop and place it. We have bottom wicks galore on the 15-minute chart. All over the place. And still trudging higher. We just took out pre-market high on ES and NASDAQ. So we have correlated movement across the market to the upside. Do we have a 10 a.m. announcement for Market Mover? We do have some data today at 10 a.m. and it's the Michigan Consumer Sentiment play. That's a medium. It's a medium catalyst. Nothing crazy, but also nothing, I guess, to write off. And we'll see that here at 10 o'clock. After that, we've got some weights report at 12. We have Goolsby speaking at 12:45, and Fed Vice Chair at 1:30. Still going green. Beautiful stuff. Keep on moving, baby. Keep on moving. With the very low volume, were you sweating the long leg of your CCS at any point? Um, Sweating it? Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, I guess it depends what you mean. I wasn't really all that worried about it. The way I positioned myself in the trade, it worked out very well. So I had, I was a properly, it was executed within my risk tolerance. I'll say that. So it allowed me to manage the position appropriately. Pretty low volume on this week. Yeah, incredibly low volume. Very low volume. Even Anna Coling made a tweet about it yesterday about the fact that we do have exceptionally low volume. So now the reason why it's not an incredibly bearish move here, the reason why we have low volume is because we don't have a price action anomaly. We do not have any kind of crazy explosion of price action with very low volume. If ES moved like 110 points with very low volume, that would be an anomaly. But we're only up. Let's see, on ES this entire week, the S&P is only up like 80 points the entire week on dropping volume, which is not that crazy of a move. So we just have to wait. We just have to look out for any kind of topics. Like today, for example, if they rally us great in the morning and then dump us in the afternoon, that might set us up for a possibility for a little bit of red opening into the beginning of the week to reposition for CPI, because we have CPI next week. Look, we're still blasting it up here. Is there a seasonal reason for that? No. In fact, all metrics of seasonality have been destroyed this year. So the whole sell in May and go away, I wouldn't even think about that. Seasonality this entire year has been destroyed. The spring seasonality was gone. March was supposed to be a little red. It wasn't. April was, and then now, of course, we're blasting up when it's supposed to be a weak month. So, how wide am I typically making a credit spread? I am typically going between 20 to 30 point wide on a week out. That's my typical risk management. Am I taking more contracts than you typically would take if you take a swing directionally? I am going less contracts than I would take just a traditional long contract, yes. I don't play with that much exposure as I do when I'm swinging confidently on a long call or a long put. My goal with call credit spreads or put credit spreads, my weekly spreads, is just to make a couple of $1,000s a week. That's it. Can I make a little bit of income to add on to augment everything else while I can sit there and take care of theta? I'm not looking to kill it or swing it out of the park, hit it out of the park. I do that, one, because I'm not trying to be greedy, and two, because in the situation like this week where I take a call credit spread and the market continues to just climb, I'm not going to get uncomfortable watching the red start to build. And if I was too overexposed, obviously, I'd be very flustered. Any PDSs entering today? I need to see if we start to top wick on the daily today. Like if we have a morning green and afternoon red, I'll consider a PDS going into it. But we've got CPI next week, so they very well could undo a lot of this going into the CPI trade next week. But I don't know really what cycle they're going to be in here, because like I said, I don't know. I don't necessarily care about the reaction, the data itself. I care about the reaction. And if we are in a trending upward market, then I would expect the overall movement for CPI to be green, unless they smoke this thing too early, and then we'll be looking for a reversal downside for liquidity. I'm long and yes. Yeah. Since a call credit spread are for ranging, would you place one at the top and another at the bottom for the possible range for that next week? That's the way I like to play them. So my normal way to play a iron condor, for example, is have a little bit of green early in the week, put on a call credit spread, let it get a little bit of a pullback, then or to put credit spread, just leg into it, tranche into the position, and then build an iron condor that way. It works a lot of time, but sometimes it can get me in trouble because I tend to sell call credit spreads into strength. And if we get a week like this where it just continues to be strong, you have to do a little management. which is fine, which this week it worked out pretty well. Nvidia is rocketing right now, way up. Let's see if Apple can bounce along with Nvidia, then we will smoke it, baby. Smoke it. Nice little green here. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. What's your stop loss or stop limit? Normally 200%. That's a good basis on which to gauge. But normally I am hedging or managing way before then. For example, yesterday or Monday or Tuesday, whenever I took it, my credit spread hit roughly 100% loss the next day or the day after. So at that point, I'm not going to let it go to 200%. I'm going to do something. I'm not one to sit there and just let that thing stop out at 200%. I'm not that type of trader. So I made the decision to just close out the short leg, leave the long leg on, and as everything continues to look bullish, I'm just, all right, I'm going to let this thing play out. Yesterday would have been a decision day for me. If we did not close over 5,200, I would have closed out the long leg and just washed my minus of the position. But since we finally swept 5,200 all day yesterday, I was pinging higher. I was very consistent yesterday. Once we hold over 5,200, I was looking for 5,240 on SPX. And we got there. So with that being said, I held on to my long leg, and today we are a little bit of tactical ascent here. I assume you saw the sellers attempt to sell and fail, and then you close the short leg. Yep. So when we bought back up, that's when I elected to close it out. What was that, Tuesday? Tuesday or Wednesday when we had the big sell-off? I was doing very well on the call credit spread, and then we rebounded. And after that, once I saw that complete rebounding and then even shift higher, that to me was liquidity grab. I no longer want to be in a bearish call credit spread. So I closed out the short leg, and then at this point, I'm just going to leave the long exposure on. And I'm using VPA for all of this. Everything showed that we just weren't ready to sell yet. I didn't take any day trade this morning because I'm still learning to take advantage of the early move up. Would have been better to do a PDS or a CDS, put debit spread. Well, you don't want to take a put debit spread on an upward move. You're going to get destroyed. That's a bearish position. Call credit spread also is a bearish position. You also would have got destroyed. So either one of those are both bearish. So for this type of move, you'd want to be in a call or a call debit spread or a put credit spread. Those are all bullish positions. Still going green here. Nice little move, 342. Nvidia is still smoking it. Apple is also just getting destroyed, and if we can get Apple to rotate with us, we can make a move. There we go, nice, 18,346. And now we going. We got 343. There goes Nvidia, top wick. We have 342 up to 350, looking to grab that. What is the VIX doing? VIX is still not moving. VIX is holding 1282. 342 there. $18,342. Falling volume on NQ green? Yep. So, what time is it? It is 9:50. We are 20 minutes in. NASDAQ is still bottom wicking. Microsoft is still putting on a green candle. Dow's got a little red. Nvidia's got some red. Apple's got some red. Apple's getting smoked. They are not feeling any love at all. So, you wish Apple would join the fun? Yeah, if Apple did, we would start making our way to 18,500 on NASDAQ. But first, we got to get a little pullback here, it looks like. Maybe 18,315 after a nice little top wick. Nvidia's 91075. Nice little red there on Nvidia. If you overlay Apple Nvidia chart, you see they may cycle the buying for the last week. Possibly. What's our view? What's my view on trading prop firms? If you don't have a system, don't even bother. All you're going to do is piss away a lot of money. Trust me, I've got many DMs of people that are frustrated. 260. Probably better than peeing away real money, though. Yeah. Yeah. Only about 1% of people are actually pulling money out of props. So that tells you something, is that most people are gamblers. 18, 326, 327, on down to 315. Nice little rejection of 18, 350. They're in business for a reason. Yep. Took 2 trades here at the open, both on NQ. First was a red trade, second was a green. Nice. Well done, passer. Proud of you, buddy. Coming on down to grab this 315 liquidity. On down. Still in business for a reason. Yeah. Do I trade gold at all? I have before. It's not something I keep a close eye on. A couple of weeks ago, I had a monster trade on silver. Just precious metals. It's been making some huge moves lately. I'm not playing this topic because of the rule of not trading against the trend. Well, buy the first pullback after putting a new high in. That's the rule. 18,329. All right, VIX is going up. A little bit of a drop on video. I love that long write-up with all those ideas. Thanks for taking the time to do that. You're welcome, Kyle. You're very welcome. I hope y'all getting some. I hope y'all getting some usefulness out of that stuff. It's been working pretty well this week. Red on NVIDIA. 315 would be a great little area to pull back on and grab some weakness. There goes NVIDIA down. 907. 325. That'd be another 10 points there. All right, IV today is still quite low. You know, they're still rolling the VIX. They're still rolling the IV. Premiums are right back to normal here, so we'll see if we can base this 325. I'd like to get me in add some more long exposure here. This week I learned that I trade better using cash accounts rather than a margin. For what for? What are you trading? 18,328. Try to grab that 320. NVIDIA's still rolling off here. 328. We got a lot of red on Apple. We got a lot of red on NVIDIA. 329. Is the link working for anybody else? Should be working. Here, somebody said they were having some issues with it earlier. I'll copy it again, but I did make sure that it was on. There we go. Oh, that's why I added a plus sign to it accidentally. Delete. There we go. All right, holding 18,330 here. We got 320 liquidity. Let me go check the options data as well. And we're flagging up here. In terms of the SR levels, we're right up against R1 at the moment. And there's not too much. R1 and R2 are kind of weak. That's why I'm saying if we break this level and hold, I'm looking for 5,300 on ES all day long. Up, up, up. And then we're going for, like I said, CPI, where it appears they're just kind of revamp this book before the event. So we'll see. Flow line right here is call buying. GEX currently is 52.60. They just rolled up the GEX to 52.60. 52.60, baby. Let's do it. I feel like we come up short of that. Top wick on the bottom gap fill to end the day. Well, that's possible. Right now, the data says higher, but I can't ride out the possibility of a top wick to end the day because in what my mind is thinking here is that we had a whole bunch of red through FOMC and through earnings. And then they bottom wicked us, and we've been straight up on holiday volume for the past week. Going into CPI, which is the next catalyst, and the next round of catalysts, CPI, NVIDIA, the next non-farm payroll, and of course the next FOMC, which is in about a month, we're going to start revamping that stuff. So it looks like they're just resetting the order book, and then we'll revamp volatility, we'll revamp the volume into next week, which will be CPI. So I could definitely see that. Just kind of whipsaw the market back and forth, refresh all the options, and then kicking off with CPI next week. The data is starting to shift. We have finally had a couple of jobs datas post in the direction of rate cuts. Non-farm came off, jobless claims went up, so we are starting to see some data that will support a possible cut in June if that trend continues. At least the narrative from the Feds will point in that direction. But really, the only thing we can do is watch the Fed funds rate for them pricing in that move. They've got 18,340 on here, NASDAQ. That's 6 points higher, looking to grab that. We'll see if they can actually get up there after a little bit of red move here. They're putting on 320 and we have data in 2 minutes here, so be careful. Data in 2 minutes. NVIDIA's bottom wicking. Looks like they're going to roll this thing over. Watch out for data, like I said. And what is it? Now 50 seconds. Maybe a little flush and pump. Yep, data in 1 minute. I hear many say the market will fall at the start of rate cuts. What's your thought on that idea? It's not my thoughts. It's what's actually happened. If you go back and look historically, 100% of the time where we exit a long rate hike cycle into a rate cut cycle, the market has fallen between 25 and 35%. Sometimes even up to 60 to 70%. So it really depends on how far we're going to fall. I don't think it's a question of if. I think it's a question of how much we fall. All right, there's the data. A little bit of red right off the bat. Nice little red flow there. They just wiped 18,315. And then they're going to try to grab this up here into 400. Bottom wicking. This hammers and holds with volume. I'm going to long back up. Yep, me as well. All right, let's see here. 522. Too early to think about cutting rates. We need to remain flexible on policy. Yep, none of that matters though. They've been flip-flopping for the 3 years now. They have no idea what they're talking about. A little bit of red. Something to think about rate cuts. Is the reason market falls because of rate cuts or because it falls because of a reason to need to cut rates? In my opinion, I think it's the latter. It's the reason why we need to cut rate cuts. Because what happens if the Fed has no idea what they're doing? So they will wait way too long, and then the market will pivot, and then they'll have to cut rates. SPY down to S1 right here. Is there enough liquidity in VIX futures to be able to get out? Yep. You shouldn't have to be worried about liquidity with VIX futures now. Alrighty, ES is down. NASDAQ dumped back over 18,300. ES tapped 52.54. Nice little 10-point move down. Hollowing out the range, baby. Hollowing out the range. Refresh. Let me get that GEX. Let's see if that thing's going to roll. I'm going to wait for this thing, the bottom wick. I've been trying to practice better market awareness. I feel like I'm watching the wrong ticker for SPX on TradingView because it has volume candles. What's the correct ticker for SPX on TradingView? There is no correct ticker on TradingView for SPX. It's ES. So you want to track ES futures, and then SPX will be for your options trading, for your options levels. So SPX, there is no volume. It's like the SPX product is just not traded. It's just literally an index for your options. The S&P, so you really want to track volume, you either track SPY for stocks or ES for the S&P futures. Is there a specific time you enter trades for pre-market and after hours? My time for trading after hours is going to be London Open and the hour before, which is about between 02 and 03. 07 Eastern Time, 06 Central, and then, of course, 09 Eastern, 08 Central. Those are the times I'm looking to trade pre-market. But in my opinion, there is no scalping in pre-market. The market moves way too slow. I think if you're gonna stay up in the night and trade that, it's either putting on a trade and leaving it on for an hour or so and capturing a longer move, or you're wasting your time. I just don't recommend sitting there. The market moves too slow to be scalping 3 or 5 points overnight. So that's the way I would approach it. Is that if you're gonna trade overnight, you got to be willing to leave trades on for a good amount of time. Let's see what happens right here. Bottom wicking still. XLE's coming off hard, getting crushed. Who doesn't want to like watching paint dry? Yeah, all week this week. Anna Colling answers Twitter comments if you guys ever want to ask her something. Yeah, definitely. She does. NASDAQ moves are nice overnight, similar to ES. I mean, they both move, but not nearly as much as they do overnight. At least not as quick as I should say. I think that's a better term. Is you have to just be patient because the market moves a lot slower overnight, a lot less volume. So my recommendation is just don't try to chop there and scalp points overnight. I think you're wasting your time. 18,250 liquidity down here. We have a nice little bottom wick on the 15-minute chart off of the morning low. That's a double bottom wick off of that 5250 area right here. We got apples coming up strong here, and 5257 making a move back up. I don't like how they do limit orders on there. Just got the top stack X. Don't feel about it. I feel like there's some things I don't like. Yeah, I haven't gotten it yet. I'm not sold on it. I want them. Anytime a company like that creates their own thing, I wanna let them shake that thing out, get all the bugs out, and I need a mobile way to do it. So. If this thing closes, I'm going to take a call to get us to a new high here. If this candle closes with a bottom wick. Right now they're rolling up data high. $52.60 is current GEX. Why is that? Nasdaq and ES after hours respect levels to the tick. I mean, it doesn't from that perspective. It doesn't matter if it's pre-market or during the trading session. They all respect levels. As long as you're finding macro support and resistance, then they should respect it regardless. Now, during the session, it just happens a lot more aggressively because there's a lot more volume involved. Overnight, there's so little volume that it's difficult for a market to go through a typical strong support. Is that a psychological level or liquidity? Well, the market tells us that's liquidity. We have a rejection there at 0.3 in the morning, and then we have 3 aggressive bottom wicks off 52.50. That tells us that that is liquidity, support. Now, it's not macros necessarily, but it is definitely a support from today. You're welcome. 18,293 here. Nvidia is getting smoked at the moment. Apple's going back up, so more inversing. I might take calls on Apple if freaking Nvidia keeps going down. Ridiculous. And we're smack dab in the middle of the range here on ES. 18,300. 10.08. If Apple goes, Nvidia falls. Yeah. And VIX is still holding 1291 here. VIX is top wicking. The bottom wick is still holding. We have 7 minutes till the 15-minute closes. Vanna, where is that at? There we go. Today is the 10th. 5160. Yeah, all over the board. Why is GameStop up 100%? Are they really? Oh my gosh. Is that thing going to die? I feel like I'm watching Dumb Money in real life right now. It's pretty ridiculous, isn't it? Pretty ridiculous. All right, Nasdaq is still breaching 18,300. Nvidia still rolling. I broke 2-year cycle. It begins. SPX at 52.55. Look at liquidity here. Let's see liquidity on ES. 52.78. Very light order book. Yesterday the book was very strong. Today is a very light order book. There's virtually nothing on the book right now, which is not nearly as confident as yesterday, unfortunately. GameStop's going to hold up the market. Yep, and then it's going to come plunging right back down. They're just going to cycle this thing over and over and over again. 2019, 17. Heck, I might take some 11 puts on that baby. What's the IV on that stuff? I ain't trading that crap, but that thing is going to come crashing back down. Never escaped gravity. Yep. Yep, neither did the Apollo missions. Just kidding. 18,274 dropping. Catching the bottom right. Yeah, there we go. Nice little red move so far. Just coming back off from the opening bottom wick at 18,258. We have 52.50 support at the moment. We have ES is coming off here as well on down. Am I kidding though? I am kidding. No. 273 still dropping. Nvidia is getting smoked at the moment. 270. Nice move. Iceberg right here at 255. We have ES is hitting 5250. This is a third test of this. ES is getting smoked, coming down as well. Nice little reversal. If you're scalping, would you do a 0 DT and how far the price? That is your call. I would not recommend anyone do 0 DTE scalping. Nobody. And if you're going to do it, make sure you're doing closer to the money. 52.50 down to here. We have NASDAQ is once again hitting this iceberg at 270. But I know. I like it. You're welcome. So if you are going to be doing some scalping, just try to go weeklies or a little bit further out. You just want to give yourself some space. That's all. NVIDIA is about to hit low of the day, and we'll see how they deal with that. NASDAQ is also doing the same thing. They've got about 10 points until they hit their opening price. And yeah, large flows here. One more push through this 262, and we'll probably tap 248. Ripping and tearing. 900%. Is it really 900%? Good gosh. That's obscene. Scalp NASDAQ to the downside as soon as it take the tail of the hammer. Nice. So we're bottom wicking off of prior liquidity already. And we've got 18,325 on. First hammer candle right there. They're rolling liquidity back up. And we'll see if we have the gumption to get through these levels. Maybe a nice little range day today. I do not like when the order book is this light. It makes it difficult to form any kind of thesis. We have 52.50, 52.30. I want a nice robust liquidity level to play to like yesterday. Yesterday was beautiful because it was high confident up to 52.40. Today there's nothing. Another red flush, 266. This should take us out after the bottom wicks fails. Down into right here, 52.50 down. ES is coming off as well. Bottom wicking here. All right, shutting down my top step for the day. Done. All right, 18,271. We've got still holding here at the opening range low after a nice engulfing red. Apple is 183.48. They're not moving at all, but NVIDIA just took out a new low here, so a lot of pressure. Nicely done. Damn. GameStop. Ridiculous. Bottom wick right here. All right, so we are just playing the range at the moment. We've got a nice little bottom wick. We have liquidity up to 18,325. I could see that recapturing that. I don't have a lot of confidence in movement right now because all the options chain data is up. We have liquidity up to 325, and we haven't yet taken out any kind of pre-market levels. We haven't even taken out the morning range yet. So outside of that one little red flush candle, I'm not convinced of any kind of red downside yet. So that's my thesis. That is my thesis. I want to see how this thing holds, and I'm going to attempt to go long to see if we can get a move up to the top of the range. Volume, again, is incredibly light. The order book is incredibly light. The yellow line on Bookmap is the session volume profile. Now, if we take out 18,240, and if ES takes out 5250 with volume, that's when I'll break down any kind of long thesis and I'll start actively trading to probably 5230. Because I don't really have a lot of awareness at the moment other than a couple of data points, but it's very weak. Solid Friday wins NVIDIA 44% on a call, 84%. Nice, Dan. Well done, buddy. Maybe a range day on NVIDIA if this candle holds. Well, I'm just watching it right now. If they take out this level, that's when we'll look for 5230, but looks like they're going to smoke it again. $52.50. They're below the morning low at the moment. They're in a process of putting a new morning low in and dropping on down. Nasdaq is coming off again, 15,250 so far. We are already down about 100 points and going. Right here, 18,251. And now I can close up my apex. All right, IBKR only from here on out. No more props for me. Apple's coming down, 183.25. We just cleared 250. 246. We have CVD as 1600. NVIDIA is still smoking on down. Yeah, this is beginning to be quite heavy here. 15-minute here is engulfing red. 5-minute. Interesting. All data pointed to higher, and it's dropping into new lows. They did it early. I was expecting this possibly in the afternoon. Interesting. Did not expect them to recapture, although they're still above 5,200, so that's okay. But red candles here. What do I think it means? Well, it's too early to tell, but this definitely looks very strong, and it's not stopping. So for me, I'd expect this thing at this point, if we're below 52.50, once we take out that on ES, we're going for 52.30. For NASDAQ here, we're already coming off here on down, and we're shifting even lower here. So I'd look for that, possibly down to take out 18,200, test that at least. But we're already down 120, 110 points. But we'll see. You know, they're still holding the pre-market ranges here, but VIX is coming back up. We got a touch little volume coming in here, and we dropped. 18251. Yeah, I don't think data is going to have that kind of effect, but yeah. 1.4 times my daily profit reach, logging off. Nice, Damien. Have a good day, buddy. Great job. All right. They just hit the last morning high right there. Last week I talked about you talking about a CS's credit spread to expect a top side, another one to the bottom side. What would be the benefit of taking a CS rather than a those are completely two different things. So I just want to make sure you're understanding what those actually are. Credit spread is like a call credit spread is bearish, a call debit spread is bullish. So you're talking about two completely different strategies. So if you want the market to climb, you take a call debit spread. If you want it to fall or stay flat, you take a call credit spread. So you wouldn't be. I guess I just want to make sure you understand what you're asking. Is my question. What the difference of those two things are. Russell's coming off to 2074 and falling nicely. 18240. The put flow is quite strong at the moment. They did take over calls big time. So I'm going to see if they shift any kind of levels down from the 5260. $15-minute, we have an aggressive bottom wick across the board. No volume? Yeah, none of this has had volume. This entire week has been holiday volume. I think Christmas had more volume than this. It's been terrible. What's the flow on NVIDIA? Let's take a look. NVIDIA is strong call buying right now. Like 400% more than puts right now. Those calls. NASDAQ put on 18322 and ES has putting on 5255. But not really much higher or lower, just very small levels higher and lower. Very light order book. Oh man, still waiting. Still bottom wicking on the 15-minute. We're holding the 18250. Hard to converse through typing. What I meant was if I took a call credit spread to the top side of an expected range and a PCS to the bottom side, how would this be better or worse than placing a CDS to the top side and a PDS to the bottom side? Oh man, I still don't understand what you're asking. It's like the same as like if you took a call at the top and a put at the top. Like I'm not sure what I'm not exactly sure what you're asking. Debit spread. Let's go ahead and choose a maximum loss on debit. In my opinion, there's no situation where you'd want to take a put credit spread and a put debit spread at the same time. So it's like you're asking which one's worse or better. It's like you can't compare it. It's like comparing apples to a block of concrete. It's like there's no comparison there. So if you're at the top end of the range and you want to speculate on downside, you'd put on a call credit spread or a PDS or a put debit spread, but you wouldn't do a call debit spread. So yeah. But if you want to leg into an iron condor, you go to the upside, you put on a call credit spread, you wait for the price action to come back down, you put on a put credit spread, and now you've essentially tranched into an iron condor. Now, if you don't want to do any credit, you can wait for the market to go up, then you take a PDS, let it come down, and then switch that into a credit spread, and now you can come back up on a call debit spread and kind of manipulate the price action. All right. Here he comes, 52.47. This one may break right here on this iceberg. Another downside iceberg to 52.30. If this one breaks it, we'll give up any long thesis down at least until we tap 52.30. If it breaks right here. Yeah, I'm not sure if I completely understand what you're asking, Matt, but I'll see if I don't know. But here we go. Dropping 18.228. Another buy hit right there and right before the fill, and we hit 300 on the iceberg. Still dropping. Red candles. Should have gotten those GameStop inputs, maybe. It's coming down. Dropping back off. We just filled that iceberg right there at 52.46. Coming off 52.40. Flushing it. NVIDIA is flushing it with an iceberg. After that one, I'm going to see if there's any more iceberg coming on after that one just filled. CCS at the top, then PCS at the bottom, or CDS at the bottom and PDS at the top. Possibly. Yeah. Filling down 52.45 here. Thick is low and control as max loss better. Yeah, I get that point, but you're still comparing two different strategies. Those are two completely different strategies. Dropping back off, 18.240 after filling iceberg. I'm looking for 52.40 here on ES. NVIDIA is still falling off here too. Dropping back over here. 18.233. Here we go. Following through 18.229, dropping 52.44. 40s on deck after the iceberg, looking down for 52.30. Dropping. Now that we've shifted below support, rolling stops down. 52.30s on deck. We have 52.42 down, one more point, 2 more points there. Clearing out all supports, baby. Here we go. 42, about to wipe 40. NVIDIA is 895 and dropping. They're adding even more disclosure down to 52.30 and 32. At least we have some good directional move here, even if it is low volume. VIX is 1296. Flushing 30. Give me one more good iceberg. Right ahead. 18,150. Keep in mind that the strategy is betting on there not being a range. Hopefully, playing around. The website will help you. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Option Strat's a great website to learn options and how things maneuver. It's a fantastic website for it. $52.45 into $52.50. Waiting for this one to fail here to grab that 30. Very slow stuff. Very slow stuff. It's not a range day anymore, or is it too soon to tell? Right now, no. We are on a trend down day. Technically, we are on a trend down day. Not by much. We are barely below the morning low right now. Actually, no. Now we're right back above it. We were below it. Now we're about a point above it. What's the rule about buying a new low? You short an. It depends. You buy the first pullback after putting in a new high. You short the first pop after putting in a new low. And we've been steady downtrend pretty much all period here. Do you love the volume candles? I do. It's been helping me a lot actually. I think that's I'm attributing to that the reason why my analysis the past weeks has been pretty spot on is a lot of that stuff right there. It's helping me see very quickly the volume candles on the daily chart, on the actual chart itself. It's been helping me a lot. All right, sorry about that. If one was looking for a put, where'd that go? For a put entry, should be waiting for the pop. Well, right now everything is still heading down. We don't really have a pop, so normally, yes, I would like to see it, but the problem with low volumes, things like this. Look at yesterday, for example. The price action took a long time to manifest. When the volume is this low, you have to wait a long time to stay in a trade and let things play out. Otherwise, you're going to wait 30, 40 minutes for a price action to oscillate 5 points. Nice little red move here coming off 18217. I'm still looking for 5240 on ES and then block to 5230 if we can get it. 18200, a good price target. So I'm looking for right here at this 213. First, we have to deal with overnight lows at 18213. That's the first target. And looks like we just swept. So that was the first big trudge down on NASDAQ. Immediate bottom wick back to the opening low. So this may send us higher here. That looked like a liquidity double bounce. I have very little confidence on this chart right now because the order book is incredibly light. The options data is all higher. All I'm doing right now is playing level to level. I want to see them. I want to see ES wipe this 5240 go down to 30 if this is going to do this. But right now they're still holding overnight lows. They're still holding 5200 here, and that just put on a tweezer liquidity sweep right there. Look what just happened on the 5-minute on NASDAQ. They just dumped it, bounced it back up, dumped it again even more aggressively, and then insta-wicked it. When you see that, that's more of a liquidity sweep. Now they're doubling down on 5230 again, right here. Oh man, my landscaper must be hurting for money. This is like the third time he's out here this week. Grass doesn't need to be mowed. Insta-wick. Yeah. Another reason I want volume to come back is because y'all get boring when the volume gets low. Y'all don't keep me entertained. Heck, there's only like 90 people in here. I'm never boring. Do I have any big plans this weekend? Not really. Same thing I always do, just working on the garden, working on the property. That's all. Yep. Mother's Day. This will be my first Mother's Day without my mom. She died. But I still got Mrs. OM. I already sold my credit spread for today. I'm walking out my dogs. Nice. You can always ask more confusing questions. I love it. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. All right, there's double tweezers there. Or not double tweezers, just tweezers, because that's redundant. Leading to a little bit higher prices. Leading to higher prices. There we go. And going. I listened to your podcast episode blocking out the noise and it really spoke to me. Thank you for making it. Here, you're welcome, Clone Trader. Well done. I appreciate you. Appreciate the support. Nice little green here coming up. Been reading EcoFlow. It's amazing whole house solar gas upgrade products. Nice. Yeah, I definitely want to do a whole house solar one day. Maybe 10 years from now or something like that. I'm going to put a whole house generator in, but eventually I want to do solar. All right, you see this 5250 coming on. They still have 5230 on and off. NASDAQ is trudging higher after the tweezer there, and they put on 52 or 18230. On the SPY 5-minute chart, that was a bounce on the 200 EMA. To me, that's not a useful item to trade off of. I would encourage you to get away from that stuff. I don't trade the lines. Good. F-16s are out again. Nice. Better buy the panels now. I think Biden's tariffing them. Yeah, I saw he's about to place a bunch of tariffs. By the way, I'm glad you brought that up. So Biden's about to smack down big tariffs on China, including EVs. So keep an eye on Tesla and other EV makers, NIO maybe, for a possible hit to their shareholding. NASDAQ respects the 5-day SMA pretty well. I'm more inclined to look at, like I said, I even follow the 200 simple moving average on the long time frame, the daily, but you're not going to find any success or consistency at all trading, scalping the shorter dated EMAs. It's just not, that's not what they're meant to be done to use. So the longer dated stuff is where you identify patterns like the daily, the 4 hour, the 2 hour, even then they're not supposed to be executable. They're just supposed to be pattern recognition. Up 7% on my tiny position. Nice. Nice little green move here. Tweezers leading to higher prices. 18,251 and going. I've been really happy with my BMW EV. If you're in the market for one, that's the way to go. Y'all see what I mean by tweezer? And how that worked? That was textbook liquidity sweep right there. Textbook. Bottom wick and higher. I have an I4 and my wife has an IX. But the question is, Mr. 50, when you trade, do you pull your BMW into your living room while you trade? That's what makes a real trader, is pulling your high-value vehicle into your living room. And you have to wear a leopard print shirt. They traded naked now. It's the new way. There you go. Who done did this? Some guy on Twitter or on YouTube or something like that, who has like 10 times more followers than I do. So apparently that's the way to do it. I'm trading from the Tesla. Nice. Lambos, baby. I'm currently in my kitchen waiting on my peanuts to fry to listen to you. You're frying peanuts? Interesting. For what? What recipe? I'm trading my garage next to a BMW. I made it to greatness. Nice. You have to paper trade out. If you had a streaming webcam, you'd probably double your view count. Yeah, I'll get one day. I've actually got a pretty cool office. I custom built myself my office, so it's pretty cool. It's just the face, my face that I have to change. I can't customize my face, unfortunately, but I can wear like a horse mask. What's a tweezer? A tweezer is two candles two hammer candles or two inverse hammer candles. So for a tweezer that I'm looking forward to for upside, I want to see red that's instantly hammered, followed by a secondary red that's instantly hammered for two bottom wicks. I just wonder if a regular person who's good at trading did YouTube, they would get followers. Do you actually need stupid stuff to get followers? I mean, I try not to do stupid stuff, and my growth has been pretty low because I refuse to do all the clickbait and the stupid face in your thumbnails. Yeah, so red reversal. Look at that rejection. Holy smokeronies. Getting smoked. $18,332. You're scaring kids off your lawn there too. I am, yeah. Another bottom weight. Oof. You could always be a VTuber. I don't know what that is. VTuber. Face for radio. Oh yeah. Yeah, one day I'll do a. I think when I get in the new house, because I'm building my office with this in mind. I'll probably do some streaming like that. Some video streaming. Gardening video. YouTube. Nice. Voice for print. That's right. There you go. There you go. Except those aren't actual tweezers. Yeah, that's incorrect. Yeah, you need wicks. So I bought to have the intent. You need wicks. Otherwise, that's just one rejection on different time frames. What's for lunch today? Haven't decided yet. We're kind of we've eaten through all of our meal prep meals and leftovers this week, so haven't decided yet. Got some enchiladas. Nice Polish deli. Yeah, buddy. Wendy's, yeah, yeah. When I go to my afternoon shift, I'll grab a couple of burgers. So in swing trades, do you move your stop losses at all, or just set it and forget it? No, I do move them. Yeah, it all depends on the thesis, though. That's a very specific trade parameter. It all depends on the time lane, what I'm looking for, the thesis. It ebbs and flows. Cuban sandwich, I love those things. Man, they are all about trying to get this thing below 200. I'm so jealous of you guys in the South with your public sandwiches. I spent 9 months in Georgia and had no idea about those things. They're delicious. $2 off the hot Italian this week. Yeah, South Alaska. Yeah. The Italian sub for Publix is got salami, ham, and a little bit of cappy. Another bottom wick, nice. Still ranging. Little gabagoo. Living in California, I crave Southern food. It's been a couple weeks in Georgia. I just can't just eat fine in California. Can't. I'm in a great spot, man. We have a lot of great food around here. I've got a great Indian restaurant. I've got a great Thai restaurant. I've got a great Vietnamese restaurant. The only thing I've got one decent pizza place I've finally found called Desano's. It's a Neapolitan style pizza place. Um, so I've got a great source of food around here. But I'd have to drive about 45 minutes to get to Desano's. Another top wick. Top wick, yeah. Neapolitan, or do you mean Napoli? Neapolitan, well, yeah. Pizza from Naples, yeah. So, do I have intraday levels on the? Yes, I do, yeah. I do. They are in the stream analysis channel if you're in the Discord. If you're tier 2, I've got them in the weekly brief for my weekly levels. Do you believe different tickers have different edges? Sure, yeah, because they're all different and they all have different levels of volume. However, it all comes down to the basics. Everything comes down to volume and price action. Everything. You just have to find that edge. All this stuff is very, very simple. None of this is complicated. And if y'all would put in the time to chart and find out where the macro pivots are on everything you're willing to trade, you can derive some good success. Become a master of a couple of different names and find out where these things fluctuate, and then that's where you place your trades. For example, if you're tier 2, go look at the macro level today on NASDAQ. You could not have had a better entry. So wait for these things and then execute on them. And that's all you got to do. Just wait. It may take you 3 days of patience of waiting, of not taking a trade, and that's where you get itchy trigger finger, and you've got to wait. But once it happens, you can have a very profitable trade. That way you keep you from scalping every single little move. Nice little red flows here. There we go. Getting smoked. Look at this. There we go. Coming off nicely now. Now we're starting to smoke it. 18,194. Dropping back off. Beautiful. I haven't done a while. Done a lurker roll call. I'm curious if people say what state they're from too. I have no idea what people are from in here. Yeah, if you are a lurker, post in the channel. Let's see you. Come hang out with us. Dip your head up out of the sand for a second. 18,200. Here we are, Trippy Mike. 200 right here. Yes, I am, Ethan. Coming off 18,200. Nice little large engulfing. Failing lower. Do I jump into a third trade? I would. This is starting to pick up a lot of momentum below here. So we're top wicking on down. And now we're still flushing. Rocking it. Got about another 30 points here on NASDAQ. When the tweezers broke down is when I took it. So, here I'll show you. This right here. Here, I'll go ahead and show you one of my macro levels too. But hold on a second. So if you look at this, this is price action. What you see here, look to the left, the bottom there before the yellow circle. We had a double bottom come on that shows a 15-minute tweezer, bounce, and we have an aggressive move from 52.42, now 52.50. And then we have a top wick that rolls us back over. We have another bottom wick, and then we start to enter into this game of whipsaw. Bottom wick, top wick, bottom wick, top wick. And then that last top wick that finally clears out, that's the third top wick in a row. We finally clear out that prior candle, and you come down here. Now, granted, right now, I don't have a lot of confidence in stuff. The liquidity on the book map is pretty light. We have conflicting data up and down, and obviously, the bears have taken control of the chart, and they're not really letting up. Once we took out the 52.50 area, I'm looking for 52.30, mainly 52.32, which they had that liquidity. But I'm just playing, some quick trades level to level here. There's not a lot of confidence. I don't have nearly as much confidence I did yesterday. I'm just playing what I see here, and that thing breaks down below 52.46, and down we go. Plus, we rejected my macro level, which was right there. Do I still swing trades? I do, yeah. I do. I've swung a trade just about every week the past 5 weeks or so, 4 or 5 weeks. I'm lurking in here after I've been gone for several months. Nice rocking. San Diego, but active lurker. Mesa, Arizona. So, I'm short since macro. Nice. Yeah, not that long for me. I don't know though. I took a bath on my 5250 calls, so they were up. They were up almost 70%. Now they're down a lot. I was trying to get there, recap a lot of that, so probably gonna have to go ahead and close those out, get what I can for them, which is not much. But the puts are helping a lot. Virginia. Oh, in addition to all those restaurants, we have an Iraqi restaurant, which is phenomenal. Shawarma, oh, one of my favorite things in the world. I have a theory that you might have more West Coasters than East Coasters. I do. I have a lot of people from California. A lot of people. West Coast is the best coast. From a food and geographical standpoint, yeah, I would agree with you. The geography out there is unlike anything in the world. It's fantastic. In my opinion, there's not a more beautiful place in the world than western United States with their mountains and Yosemite. The Don Wall, incredible. El Capitan. Do y'all know the story behind the plane of weed that crashed in Yosemite back in like the 80s? That's a crazy story. Crazy story. So like back in the 80s and 70s and stuff, I forget which time frame, but there were all the they call them dirt bags. All of the dudes that are pretty much homeless, but all they do is go out to Yosemite and rock climb. They live out of tents and rock climb, and they're all like, they reek of body odor, and they look like they need showers. So they're all rock climbing, and all of a sudden, like all these dudes that have no money at all, not a penny to their name, they start buying like new cars and brand new clothes and brand new climbing gear, brand new cars and trucks and stuff like that. They're like, where are these dudes getting all their money? Well, turns out that up in the mountains of Yosemite, a plane that was coming from Mexico crashed, and it was fully loaded with weed. And these dudes found it, and then like took all the weed out of it, and obviously were dealing it, selling it, making all this money. And they kept it a secret where the weed was. I thought it was hilarious. Like, what are the chances? Whole time you thought you said wheat. No. All right. I closed out my put. I'm back to flat. Nothing. That may be it for me today. I don't have a good read on this stuff. I'm able to piece together something decent here. I think I'm done. Read a story of someone finding $1 million worth of coke in the Keys. So I was like, yeah, why report it? They were living the good life. Prop daily goal hit. Personal account 2 trade limit. Lurker check-in complete. Nice, Nick. Is the macro levels plotted once a week? They are every single Sunday night. And here's the NASDAQ trade from this morning off the macro level. I'll show you that one since it's the end of the week already. This was the NASDAQ macro. Those are difficult trades for me to call out because actually I have to be very, I have to save that stuff for the tier 2. But that was NASDAQ macro. It's an importing hub for everything, including narcotics. Entrepreneurship at its finest, yeah. I'm going to close this thing out. Did you catch the move? I did, yeah. Yeah. Not all of it. I didn't catch the whole thing because I wasn't expecting very much downside. So I just caught a little bit of it and then closed it. I've had not a very good day. I mean, slightly green, but I had to piece together some stuff. When you execute day trades, do you use 0DTs? Do you go further out even though you plan to close them out? It depends. It depends on what I'm looking for. I'll throw zeros down. I'll throw 3-day down. I'll throw weeklies. It all depends on what I'm trying to do, what my thesis is. If I see an opportunity to day trade, I'll take a scalper day trade. But right now I'm trying to piece together swing trades. Swing trades are working really well. They're working really well, and I'm going to stick with that. World's told to brace for a severe geomagnetic storm today. Uh-oh. I don't know if people agree with me, but I think it's cool that you share your Tier 2 material at the end of the week. People get pumped about what they can get in Tier 2. I just jumped into Tier 2 blindly, but it would have been good to know the applicable market material. Yeah. We have another Tier 2 call this weekend, too, by the way. Sunday. So anything y'all want to talk about, talking to you, Matt, post it in the Zoom channel, and we'll develop a curriculum. Does anyone ever do a study on how often SPX will fill its morning gap? I've seen studies before. I know that it happens frequently as long as it's below a certain percentage. It's like right around a 1% or 0.8%. I forget what the number is. So. How do you subscribe to monthly subscription? Follow the link down in the description. You go to the website, and you have to log in with your Discord name and then sign up, and that'll automatically link you into the server. It'll give you all the roles you need into the server. But the links are down in the description of the YouTube video. Do you plan on discussing today any planned swing trades? Right now, I don't have any, so no, I guess is your answer. I am looking for possibilities, but right now I don't see a good setup for a swing trade because next week is CPI, and I am expecting a kickoff in volatility next week as we've completely crushed vol, but I'm not confident enough to put on a downside position right now. I don't want to get like right now. I've got an awesome track record with swings, and I don't want to get lazy on taking entries. So I'm really trying to focus on maintaining situational awareness and proper execution. And right now, I just don't have any good warm and fuzzies on a swing trade. Gotta go sweat it out in full body armor fighting for. Oh, nice math. We'll have a good 3 weeks. Is that your TDY for the year? AT, nice. Yeah, that's what I meant. AT. If we took a big swing now, it's a speculation, no edge. Yeah, I agree. Because here, when we it all depends on today's volume too. We have a nice little top wick. If the volume comes in, that could mean supply, and we could face a little red going into CPI. If we buy things back up, then it's just really more pin action into the event. But for me, I just don't have a good warm and fuzzy. You as well, Mike Steels. So coming up on Euro close. The first in 20 years if it comes to fruition. You're welcome, Rock and Rosie. Appreciate the question. Zoom call Sunday at 5:30 Central. Ish. It'll be around that time. I'll post it exactly. Might be a touch later. I'm confused with volume tests. If we can possibly go through low volume and high volume tests in the Zoom, we'll explain some of the slower tests in higher time frames. Okay, definitely. Basically, in a nutshell, AR is high volume tests normally means reversals. Low volume test normally means continuation or finally breaking of a level to go through it. You do not want high volume if you're looking for a breakout or breakdown. For example, look at NASDAQ right here and look at the 5-minute volume candle at 1050. You do not want to see that because look what happens, immediate bounce. Now if NASDAQ fails again and retest 190, 180 and we have no volume, we're just going to break on down to probably 160. I love the top deck lockout. Took my win today and there's absolutely no way to reverse it. Nice. I'm probably done for the day. I'm probably done. I'm ready for the weekend. I hate low volume stuff. What kind of trade did you take with low volume? Low position sizing. I would just stick with low position sizing. That's a pretty broad question, so I'll just stick with low position sizing. I usually thought it was after a breakout they test with low volume candle and then it rips. So, for example, right here, if you are looking for a break lower, we're at the lows. We broke it all the way down. We're looking for a break lower. So, if I am looking for a trend down afternoon, what I'd want is a breach through 200, 190, somewhere in there, with no volume, or lower volume, I should say. We break through. We have a little bit of a bottom wick to retest it. We continue on down, and then after we've broken through, retested, turn the support into a resistance and fallen, then you can have volume come in as sellers begin to pick up confidence and we start to pull away to the downside. But as you're going into the pivot, you do not want high volume. That tells us that the opposing party is still there waiting. So right now, Tier 2 offers the bi-weekly Zoom calls and macro levels, as well as the channel is right there. We'll be taking more swing trades. I've got coffee and charts. We've suspended that currently, just because simply I have no time. Like my time is pretty strapped. I'm going to try to add that back in the next couple of weeks. Not to mention I don't see too many opportunities at the moment. But right now it's the weekly Zoom calls that you have access to historically and the future ones, and the macro levels. My goal is to get. You should be able to make your. You should be able to make your weekly or your monthly payments back on the macro levels alone. But mainly, in my opinion, the big value of tier two is the Zoom calls, where you can go back and research the prior calls as well as the ones we've got now. We go a little bit more in depth and a little bit more one-on-one stuff. That's go through live with charts. The macro levels are just icing on the cake to make a little bit more extra money off of, in my opinion. Man, what is that? K3579. Extreme. Uh-oh. So what are the implications of that? This Sunday is Mother's Day. Oh, yeah. That's a good call. That is a good call. Hmm. That's a good call. Yeah, say hello to your mother for me. Saturdays typically doesn't have a good, typically does not have good attendance. People are usually pretty busy on Saturday. That's why I usually do it Sunday nights when people are back home. I don't know. I'll have to think about that. My activities will be done by then, but others might not. Does anybody know the implications of that geopolitical storm? Like, what is that a serious thing, or is that something that just the news puts out because it's fear mongering? What's up, Jeremy? How you doing, buddy? From South Carolina. Appreciate you hanging out. I typed in geopolitical storm. Geostorm. What is this? Not the movie. Apparently, Gerard Butler stars in a movie called Geostorm. Severe solar storm could trigger northern lights as far south as Alabama. The first warning issued in 20 years. Interesting. I don't want to click on CBS because I don't want to be fed BS. If I wanted BS, I'd get some manure. Geomagnetic storm is a major disturbance of the Earth's magnetosphere. Interesting. That occurs in the very efficient exchange of energy from the solar winds to the space environment surrounding Earth. Blah, blah, blah. Intense currents in the magnetosphere, changes in radiation belts, and changes to the ionosphere, including heating the ionosphere and upper atmosphere. Blah, 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 blah. Something like that. Yeah. Uh-oh. Worst case giant EMP. Go over GEX positioning. Yeah, definitely. So GEX positioning for right now has rolled from 60 down to 52.20, which is where we currently are. Yeah, tell me about it, Fuel Jet. Put a Faraday cage on everything electronic. Alabama being able to see some northern lights. I guess you can call them southern lights from at that point. All right, after 11:30, I'm going to call it a day. This price action, we're chopping back and forth at 18,230. ES is 52.40, and that's it for me. It's been a long week. Low volume chop. Are dumps real? Deep underground military bases. I guess it depends on what you mean. Do we have some underground facilities? Yes. Do we have stuff that are top secret that no one knows about? Probably. But I can't confirm or deny. I wish I knew more. I'm just a lowly pilot, man. I'm not in Black Ops or in the White House. Can you get his day passes? Fix is 1282. Apple's coming back up. I'm setting up IBK. I want to confirm that you have to pay for live data for SPX. It's $30 a month. Sound right? That sounds about right. I'll have to go look at it. Are aliens real? I believe they are. I do eventually, AR. Yeah, I need to reach out to her. Get things rolling. So I got completely smoked this morning. Right now we have top wicks, but with small volume. Would that lead you to think upside considering where we are at this time? Right now I don't have a lot of confident positioning. This actually looked quite weak. 18,230 at the moment with the 5-minute volume has gone literally to almost nothing. Price action is still very stagnant. So I could see this going down to 52.30 on ES and another test of 18,200. But in all honesty, and I'm admitting, I don't have a good handle on this price action right now. The volume is very light. I've had to scrap together a green day here, which is not even that great. So I'm kind of Monos Erebus at this point, and I certainly don't want to lead you all astray. We have GEX did start the day off at 52.60. They have shifted it down to 52.20. So they are moving the GEX down with it. More importantly, we have liquidity on Bookmap down to 52.30 now. But CVD is quite red. So, yeah, market breadth has gone. You know, the X's right now, the 10X sectors has gone from 80% green today to 60% red. So we've had a little bit of a flipperoni. So yeah, overall we're not down that much. The days are still green, but they have given out pretty much all of the overnight rally and just pinned us back to settlement close, roughly. The order book is very light on NASDAQ and ES, with NASDAQ putting on a little bit more at 18,200. So if you are going to trade today's action, Especially today, you've got to pull back trading. You've got to pull back your position sizing a lot and let things just breathe. When the price action is very low volume, well, I'm sorry, when the day has very low volume, the price action is going to be very wicky because it's not going to have a lot of strength to go in one way or the other. So you have to, if you want to speculate on a direction, you have to pull your position sizing way back and hold it for at least 45 minutes to an hour to let it go. I would not encourage you to be scalping candles on this stuff. So if you want to speculate on 18,340 on NASDAQ, get you a couple of micros or one micro and just take your hands off and set a stop on it. And if it fails, then you're done for the day. If you wanted to go short, then same thing except the other direction. Do I see NASDAQ recovering? It could. I don't see a lot of upward liquidity anymore. We've already had one big sweep off of macro. So there you go. I don't know. My son and I are going to a local range today to shoot the 50 BMG. But their 100-yard range is down for 100 yards, man. Man, for a 50 BMG, you need a 1,000-yard, baby. Well, I know you said you're from Tennessee, Matt. If you live in Tennessee, you're probably near where the 50 cals are made. Right outside of Murfreesboro, you got the Barrett plant. You go out there, you could shoot some long-range stuff. I live in Murfreesboro. I have a close friend who is head of their marketing. Nice. There you go. They were recently purchased out of a company out of Australia. Really? I don't know that. Yeah, I spent my first year of college at MTSU before transferring to UTK, UT Knoxville, for aerospace engineering. I know Murfreesboro very well. 18231. Oh man, I got a family in Lewisburg. Nice. Seems like a coin flip. It is. Yeah. Population really exploded the last few years. A lot of blue state transplants. Yep, that's everywhere, unfortunately. That's why I was there. MTSU, I don't remember much though. So Yochiro, you're probably either pilot program or music. Music business. Yeah. That's what they're known for. Oh man. All right, we're gonna start wrapping this up soon. So any questions y'all have, let me know. That's what I want to do, but I end up leaving, never finished. That's all right. I'm sure God led you to other places. Any chance this recovers? I'm sure there's a chance. Right now, I don't see a lot of it supporting a recovery for now, but I'm sure it could. To me, in my opinion, this volume is not worth it to me. I want to be here where I have a high confidence move, where I could see some good, strong, confident VPA move into this. I mean, you could sit here and, like yesterday, for example, I was pretty confident we were going to 52.40, but I still closed out my call because I don't want to sit here all day and watch it. Um, and theta was so aggressive here that the stop would have been tripped. So, I mean, whatever. Plus, I had to go pay homage to the Kingsmen. So, for me, low volume, it's a time to kind of step back, relax, catch up on some other stuff, catch up on admin, catch up on a little bit of research. And then next week we should have more volatility with CPI. Your patience and priceless education. Thanks, Vampire. Appreciate it. Thank you for being here and be safe for the weekend. You as well. Y'all have fantastic times with your moms and wives. Treat them well. And if you are a mom, then thank you for being a mom. Any tips for dealing with the concept of money just appearing when trading? Seems like numbers. Yes, I have one good tip for that, because that's a great question, Malik. Is that when you get into trading, your concept of money completely changes. It completely, you forget about the fact that you are dealing with thousands of dollars. And you don't feel like when you lose $1,000 that if you were to have a stack of 10 $100 bills on your desk and you just reach down with a lighter and just lit them on fire right in front of you, you don't feel that pain. That would be very painful to do. But you don't feel that pain when you're seeing it in your day trading account or your normal investing account. So in order to create or maintain that connection, you have to pull money out of your account. Even if you are 60% red overall on the year, let's just say you're down 60%. And I know that's a lot, but let's just say you are. If you have a killer day one day and you make a lot of money one day, pull some out. Even if you're not even close to breaking even on the year, pull some out. Just to make the profits tangible, to make it realize, hey, I feel a little what's the word I'm looking for? I feel a little connection to the money I just made. Let me pull some out, and now I'll be more driven to continue to make those good decisions that led to those wins. But if you completely decouple yourself emotionally from the funds you have in your account, it's going to be difficult for you to find success, because it literally is just numbers on a screen. It's no longer money. It's no longer your livelihood that you're dealing with. Good question. It's a very good question. So to summarize, bottom line up front, pull money out. When you have a good day, pull some out. Go buy yourself some dinner. Go buy your mother dinner. Go buy yourself some gabagoo. It's been hard with big wins and losses. You're welcome. Yeah. And you feel better too, because let's say you have a killer day, you make 10 grand. You pull 2 of it out. Now you have $2,000 that you didn't have the day before. You're still up 8. Let's say, all right, worst case scenario happens, you lose that $8,000. Well, you're still up 2. You're still locked in 2. So you don't feel as bad. Lock in those profits, baby. I'll take a look, Walker. Appreciate that, buddy. There's also a fantastic book if you want to go even deeper, Malik, about the mindset of money. It changes it completely changes your concept of money. And how do you approach money? How do you look at money? How do you think of money? If you're someone who comes from money or comes from no money, what do you look at? Because a lot of people realize quickly that you want this big fancy car. Like your goal is to have a Lamborghini. But it's not the Lamborghini you actually want. It's you want the attention that a Lamborghini gets you, or the perceived attention. Because in reality, nobody gives a dang about your stupid Lamborghini. In fact, they're not even happy you have a Lamborghini. They're saying, that guy's a douche. I want that Lamborghini. Look at that douche with that Lamborghini. So it's like what you want is the feeling of pulling up to a red light and a bunch of chicks being, oh, look at that dude. He's got a Lamborghini. That's what you want. But in reality, they're not even paying attention to you. And once you realize that, you stop wanting crap. You stop wanting to piss away money on stupid stuff. And instead, you want security. To me, money is time. Money is security for me. And it's taken me many, many years to realize that. That's why I still like BOGOs. Money is time. Money is security. Money is not material. Not to mention my spiritual aspect, which I try not to push too much on you all, but I'm a very, spirituality is a very big part of my life. So there's that concept of materialism. Plus, I promise you, coming from someone who has had no money ever, I was very poor growing up, and now to the point where I'm pretty comfortable. Money does not buy you happiness, or material does not buy you happiness. It buys you security. It makes life a little bit easier, but it doesn't buy you happiness. When you pull some out and donate some to a good cause, it's amazing. It is. When you help others, it's absolutely amazing. It's a great feeling. Do I set daily profit targets? I do, yes. How do you specifically trade price action and not running into P&L? I'm struggling to understand how much profit or loss is enough per day. Profits are incidental of a trading system. I'm pretty confident in my trading system. So before you can ask the question of P&L, you have to determine if you have a trading system that's good for Vish, for you. Executing on a consistent trading system will lead to profits, but chasing profits will not lead to a system. It'll actually lead you deeper into a hole. So for me, I execute based off of a system, and the profits I get from that are a result of me executing properly. Now, I do set a dollar amount target that on which I hit it, it allows me to pull back my risk exposure greatly. That's how I keep myself safe. When I hit my daily profit, one of two things happens. Either one, I completely shut down for the day, excuse me, or two, I pull position sizing back to the point where it's nearly impossible for me to go red on the day. So if I'm normally trading 2 or 3 mini contracts, I'll pull it back to like 5 micros. And that's it. And the stress that you feel from that, stress relief you feel from that is extraordinary. You're welcome. I feel like my job is taking away my family, so I'm trying to trade to combat the need to overtime and spending time with the family. Yep. I feel you. I feel you. I have a very a personal period in my life that I had that exact feeling. And I remember exactly where I was. I remember exactly what I was wearing and exactly my thought. I was on the interstate, approximately 6:30 in the morning, headed to work, and this was 14 years ago, ish. It was the first time that the Powerball hit $1 billion. That I can remember at least. And I'm sitting on the interstate in dead stop traffic, going into downtown, and I just happened to stop just under the $1 billion Powerball sign where you could see it. And I'm looking at that sign, and I'm just looking around in dead stop traffic, and everyone's face is absolutely miserable. Like, everyone looks like you just kicked their puppy. And I'm like, is this my life? Like, is this what I have to face the rest of my life? Like, is this supposed to be what I'm going to do? Is sit here in this miserable traffic with miserable people doing something I don't want to do for the rest of my life? I remember exactly that feeling and where I was and what I was thinking that day. And I think that's part of the reason why I was so driven, is I had thoughts like that. It's like I refuse to accept mediocrity in my life. You had said if you scalp it was good to go out for a few days, I didn't catch everything you were saying. Can you elaborate on pros and cons of the strategy? What I'm saying is that if you're going to scalp and you can't find consistency in your system, then extend your expiration. Extend your expiration. Do not do zeros. If your number one problem is consistency, then most likely you are taking on too much risk, and your exposure is way too tight. Your expiration, I'm sorry, not exposure, is way too tight. So you need to extend. Dow's coming off. Russell's coming off. How hard I relate to that is insane. No, I feel you, man. I feel you. But the grind never stops. It never stops. Not until they're putting scoops of dirt in my face is it over. Hey, another big wick. Look at that. Terrible stuff. Any final questions? We're going to call this a day. A lot of good deep conversation at the end of the day there. And of course, on top of that is getting out of consumer debt. I can be philosophical all I want, but at the end of the day, I think the number one thing that led to my success was having no consumer debt. You have to get out of consumer debt. There's just no way. I think interest to me is the absolute destruction of the American consumer. I complain about taxes a lot, which I think taxes are theft. I think taxes should be illegal. I don't know how they are. And I think eventually we'll reach the point where we get sick of it and do something about it. But that's a different conversation. But I think other than taxes, interest is the cancer of the financial society. So you have to stop playing. You have to stop getting interest. Do you ever blame fate for anything? No, I don't. No, I don't. Like I said, religion is a very big part of my life. I should say God is a very big part of it. Religion is a man-made concept. I think religion is terrible. God is a big part of my life. And in my opinion, he gives us free choice. He gives us the ability to turn toward him or turn away from him. We have free choice. So I don't believe in fate. I think your decisions affect your outcome. And when our time comes from judgment, we are judged based on our decisions. Yeah. I think religion's a man-made concept. It's terrible. I mean, look at all the different interpretations. You have all the different variations of Baptist church, all the different variations of, Methodist, Catholic, Baptist. It's all nonsense. It's just interpretation. I was raised Catholic, which I won't get into it. Now I'm Baptist. Hope everyone has a nice weekend. You as well, IJ. Many days I make profit in a trade in a few minutes, which is way more than my daily pay in the job, but I'm able to retain the profit thinking if I keep going, I'll make an entire month's salary. Well, in that way, Vish, I don't have a good answer for you. However, stop losses are your best friend. And then profit losses, I should say. Profit stops. Roll up the stops to lock in profit, and then whatever happens, happens. And the way I think about it, Vish, is I do not have a crystal ball. I can't tell any more than you all can when the market is going to rage or when it's going to sell off. I have to play a setup that I see, and I put on my position, and then I roll my stop into a area. And then if the stop does not trip, then I am able to catch a very big trend, which is about 10 to 15 to 20% of the time. 60 to 80% of the time, I'm going to get stopped out in profit, which is fine. I've made a little money. And every now and then, I'll catch a big trend day, and I'll make a lot of money. But it's how you manage your stops. It all boils down to position management. Everything we talk about here, from knowing what to do, it all comes down to your baseline of position management. If you don't know how to manage a position or keep yourself safe, there's not a dang system out there that's going to make you profitable. In my opinion, that's my strength. I'm not that smart of a dude. I certainly don't have a golden egg trading system. It all comes down to how do I manage my positions. I'm wrong all the time, but I never, ever, ever let a position blow me out. Never. Not once. That's what keeps me successful, is the fact that I can control my losses, and every now and then, using stop losses and consistently, I can catch a big winner. That's it. So, yep, have confidence in your trades. Absolutely. Eighteen two white, drop him back over. Definitely, Dan. You're doing good, buddy. I appreciate it. You've been awesome. Watching you sling some NVIDIA. $5,200s. Ooh. All right, y'all. Top of the hour. I'm going to call that a day. A lot of great conversation. If y'all have any questions about anything, please let me know. Like I said, we're doing a Zoom call this weekend. We'll figure out a good time. We'll get it done. Oh, thanks, Malik. Appreciate it, buddy. Thanks for the questions and the participation. So, you as well, Matt. Y'all have a good rest of the day. Have a fantastic weekend and a fantastic Mother's Day. And don't get chopped up in this chop. So, I'll see y'all next week. I'm out. See you.